welcome to another episode of Connected Dots. I am your host, Lou Icewater, aka Duquan Hicks, and I have a special guest. This is my main man, you know what I'm saying, from Jersey. Man, this dude, no introduction, he has done it all in the rap game, beats. He's an entrepreneur. He's everything that can be. This dude is my man, Kamal Rogers, better known as Brother, formerly known as Kamal Rogers. What's good, my dude?
Yo, what's happening, Lou?
Not
Hey,
much, man. How you be?
I can't complain, brother. I be good, man. Like I said, good. You're live today, man. So everything is great. I got no expectations or limitations on what the rest of the day could foretell. So I mean, just being honest, Lou. I mean, I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Appreciate
Yes,
you
sir.
having me.
Thank you, man. It's good. Thank you for coming. For real, man. So tell me about your humble beginnings, man.
Wow. Which part of
Yeah.
it, Lou? Which part of it? Sometimes I feel it's like my second life or something.
Right.
So and each one has been like again, just grateful for it, Luke. Um, I mean, we've talked, man. My days start back from 1979.
Hmm.
So this is how it goes. Again, coming out of Patterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
Being a little young nappy head kid on the block. Around the way, watching the OGs. They
Hmm.
they kept like funk music, Earth, Wind and Fire, and stuff like that playing in the decks. you know, um, and always just sitting around and observing, hearing, like they have pause button tapes. So I'm liking the vibe. I think my older brother, RP to him, he took me to a Stevie Wonder concert also. It might have also been like a Bootzilla or something concert. So
Right.
the funk is what really it began about, man. And like in short notice, I'm on the bus trying to see what's happening in New York, man. I want to go across the bridge, so quickly, and just grabbing my first record probably was Curtis Blow Christmas Rap, you know, um,
Woo. Yes.
because it
Yes.
just it just had a break in the beginning, you know what I mean? And I probably had a love rap back then also, you know. So in just combining it was just like the pause button of the instrumental, a little 4 bar intro that I wanted to put on there, begin to make a pause button tape with that not love rap, but the B side love rap language. Where it just like you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about? So again, Lou, that's where the culture of it began. I mean, at the same time, I'm writing rhymes in the basement. I'm doing what everybody's story tells. I'm cutting mom's old phone, trying to make a headphone. Messing with her big long stereo, trying to scratch on it. Because it's in our vibe. So again, during
Yes.
'79 and getting that feeling, I probably would have put together that first little rhyme and pause button tape, took it on the block, and OGs gave me a pass for it. You know what I mean?
All right.
So as they gave me a passport, and again, shout out to OG's Funk, man, Harry P. Funk, Teddy P. Funk, again, Patterson, 12th and Madison. This is where I come from. You feel me? And
Yes.
so, as that vibration went on, Lou, probably a little while in the streets, a couple of brothers came to me, man. They had a 3 MC group, and I think their third MC was going in the military. So
Hmm.
therefore, they wanted me to come audition for the DJ.
Wow.
They heard the little verses. They know I was in my basement. You know, trying to build from there. I done got other records. Again, you talking King
Hmm.
Tim the Third and everything at this point. So I'm hearing the vibrations. Um, Went out to box, man, and so this is where like I guess that part of it began. Got down with a crew called the We Rock Crew. DJ name was Mix Master Mike. Again, shout out Mike from Patterson, New Jersey. Um,
Okay.
so
Jersey.
Mix Master, honestly, he was already bopping. Again, he was bopping. He was a DJ. Mike would have did some scratches on CD3 back in the day, right? His style was
Wow.
unique.
CD3. Word.
CD3, exactly. Plus a few others. I won't quote him. I'm gonna let him get his own credit in due time for that. But
Right.
basically, man, it was just becoming that third MC with the group. Now, come to find out, they rocking. We doing parties. There's a promoter around town, Peter Pan. Again, rest in peace to Peter Pan. He just passed a couple of weeks ago. Um, Peter Pan, man, he brought a lot of energy to Patterson. You know, he was one of them people who brought the groups in. You know, sometimes he might have had bad known for being gone before the money was on the table, right? But at the
Right,
same
right.
time, I always loved Pete because no matter whether he did that, he came back with another show and later on tell you later stories. But becoming a promoter, you understand, like, you know, sometimes, you know, you just understood Pete. Pete made it happen, man. Again, like I said, shout out Peter Pan. Um, but Pete started bringing in groups like Cold Crush, Fantastic Five, flashing them, right? Pete is bringing
Mm,
in Crash Crew. He's bringing in your Debbie D's and your Wanda D's, right? He's bringing these shows. They opened up a skating ring back in the day with John Amos, right?
okay.
Peter Pan is helping. He's bringing New Edition, following it. So all of these shows is just coming in, and at all
Mm,
given times, pretty much my DJ or one of the DJs, you know, they was providing the sound. They was hometown. So we did a lot of battling back then. Um,
mm.
you know, we went from battling hometown crews to battling. I remember we battled Force MDs, or my crew battled Force MDs. You know,
Wow.
and that
Get
was one
out
of
of
the.
here.
So I mean, like I said, so the culture started way back then, Lou. For me, I'm man, like the energy of it. And again, at this point, I'm still in high school, but we doing parties. I think eventually, I didn't cut the story. Eventually, the two MCs, man, you know, you learn what biting is. Um,
Right.
like I said, where I had the one record, but
Hmm.
I hadn't really gotten into the street tapes yet, right? Like again, bootleg. So I guess let me go back. This is a little bit a mixture of me hearing the King Tim the Third before your Cold Crushers, right? So I'm hearing
Wow.
this underground music, you know, that type stuff. Now my peoples is hearing tapes of Cold Crush. So I guess at this point, man, it was like, you know, you find out like their lyrics. They was probably bringing other people lyrics over to Jersey,
Mm,
right? So they bring their rhymes weren't unique. So we got called out one time. We're pretty much them, right?
right.
And so this is where at this point the DJ would kind of discard these two MCs. So now it's just me and the DJ, right?
Mm,
The We Rock crew. So we would just basically be still the We Rock crew. Myself would become cool with another brother named Just Stop back then. We then still was the We Rock crew, but at the same time we started saying the Trey Force,
okay.
right? Because there's three of us now, a DJ and two MCs. Now as time went on, again, I'm bopping. We 79, we 80 now. You know, we probably 80, 82, 83 is where I am
Hmm.
in the timeline. So I probably left for a while, Lou. I ended up down south, trying to build down here. At the same time, I'm doing music, messing with the
Right.
DJs down here, you know, in Sumter, South Carolina. Um, so I'm taking my show on the road. I don't even
Okay.
understand it yet. I'm crossing the lanes. I'm hitting down 95. So started doing music here, you know, out in the Sumter area. Um, at the same time, when I got back, my spot was gone with the crew, right?
Right.
So my man just probably brought in two MCs from his old crew, his peoples. And so they kind of became um they took on the name, the Trey Force MCs.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying? So it went from the Trade Force to the Trade Force MCs. But again, my music will continue to do, I guess you say at that point, now I'm like your Kumo Dia, this Treacherous 3 group,
right.
right? So I'm always Dolo. Time would take course, Lou, you know, spent some time in the military, graduated, had a daughter early in life, right?
Right.
I'm homegrown. I'm around the city doing stuff. I probably leave going to the military. I do music in the military, right? You know, every place I'm going, I know I'm in a talent show or something. So the music was always the vibe. Being a part of it again, returning back. Probably now in 80, we talking 89. Um, where at this point of the game, I want to learn the business. So I decided you know, we're gonna invest and start our own label. This is where you want to create your own label. So invested, got about 1,000 copies of records pressed up. Um, Probably used a sample of More Bounce to the Ounce back then, right? Um, and something else. But this is probably 6 months prior to the sampling law being passed.
Right.
So I'm independent. I got my last few dollars, but I'm investing in myself. I'm gonna record this record. I had some brothers I was rolling with. They were a band. I used to go around with them doing a lot of cover tune raps and stuff. Playing English band back in the days from out of Patterson, right? But these brothers let me hold a 4-track one day. And I went home and I paused button the instrumental and ended up writing a song. I took it back to them. I thought they would love it. They didn't embrace me.
Right.
Went to a studio, asked them whether they would produce, help me work with it. So that's where that project began. Um, to know that the music was going to transition now, Luke. You feel what I'm saying? At this point, I'm becoming an artist, right? More or less than just this basement rapper in my mother's house. I understand my abilities, right? You know,
What was your rapper's name back then?
well, pretty much, man, I would have probably started out like everybody else, just adding the Quan onto my name, right? My government name, right?
Right, right,
You know, because again, it's a peaceful attribute, right?
right,
It's a peaceful attribute. But in the process of it, Lou, I then got, consciousness was brought to me, right? Consciousness is
right.
brought to me early, again, 16 years old. I'm woken, right? And so I took on the attribute of Kamal. So Kamal was really, might have had a tag LB at one time, but Kamal became my attribute, and Kamal became the tag I ran with Robin and everything. It was like what people knew me as. When I got into the label part, I built more of a movement called Peaceland Family. And so Peaceland Family it was always kind of bigger about me. Let me take it back to being woke. Lou, as I said, going into the studio early, I asked the brother, I was seeking information about performing at my high school graduation. And again, we talk about 91, 92. By the time I got out to service, got home, got stable. When I left, Craig G, Biz Markie, they had rocked at my graduation party,
Get
right?
out of here.
Talking eight.
How did that happen?
Well, again, I graduated in 1984, right? So in
Right, right.
'84, graduation party, they're underground. So they get a spot to, they the shit. So they come perform. Pardon me, I don't know if it curse, but they perform at my graduation party. So now you're
Mm,
talking '84. So now fast forward to '89, '92, when I'm back home and I'm beginning to put this record out.
right,
Pretty much what's happening is I come home from the service and I gotta find a job, right? I go to school for hair, cosmetology, right?
right.
Something happened, financial aid situation. I can't afford to stay in. I do the first half of the course, financially. So now, but along the way, I've coerced a barber. Well, my man had a beauty parlor. He started letting me work in there. I was tight with nails at one time, right? I was tight with nails. So he let me come set up a nail station. Started doing the shampoos, good with massages, right? So now I'm working in a salon, but I'm just there. I know I'm not in school able to get this paper right now. So how far can I go? He was willing to take me the distance, but all of this cross paths with the 4-track that the brothers let me hold, but they don't embrace. I take to the studio. I finally figure out I'm gonna get some change. They decide to let me come record, and there's a hair show going on the same Saturday. My man
Mm.
tells me I have to make a choice which one I'm gonna embrace. They're both arts.
Right.
I walk away, I take the music route. Feel me? So I go to the studio, record the song. Now I want to perform. So I call around the east side to the school, finding out who's in charge of sound. They put me in touch with a gentleman who had a sound company, and his name was Dan Shiver, right?
Right.
Shiver Realty out of Jersey, right? Plus Dan play club. Dan's he do a lot of house music now. Got a lot of house podcasting, but
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what y'all known for.
right. So me and Dan build. I explain. He tells me he likes the ideal, but come talk to him. So I come to talk to him, and he said, yes, I could perform at the high school. I want to be what was there.
Right.
Time has passed. Can I be the special guest at this graduation party, right? So he allows me to come perform, but he likes the business proposal. He says he wants to invest if he can produce a song. We agreed. Dan helped me push this vision forward, right? And so basically got into the studio, recorded the song, got 1,000 copies of the record a few weeks before the sampling. So once this happens, now I just use the sample that I don't know is about to take me through a lot to be able to use it,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm not budgeted for all of this, right? I'm learning as I go along, right?
Right.
And so we moved forward. Studio did burn down. So I can't go back and record or take nothing out. We talking analog back in them days, on tapes, right? So as the process went on, Lou, the transition from there led to understanding, all right, I'm still into this music, but what do I need? And so whatever I need, I'm gonna become. So started doing management, started finding artists I could, push forward. If I
Right.
perform
Right.
somewhere and I got paid, or if I was in a contest or a talent show, I can now get them in it. Right. So the fact was, how do I relive? It took me to the question when I went to college one time. We always said we can go back and know something that we know today back then, what we would do different. You know how simple that is, bro? It's just about asking somebody who was already there what they would do if they went back.
Wow.
So, I remember asking a brother if he went back to college because he was in college. He was a producer of mine. His whole vibe, we was aligned. So I'm saying, well, why not ask this brother, right? And he
Right.
told me how he would go in. And I went in with that mindset to do those things, from going in, finding out what clubs were there, right? Trying to endorse, like take a club that was charted and be able to bring the music right to this platform. So again, we marketing now. I can hire my DJs out the streets and connect all of this together, man. And this part became more of a movement, Lou. Again, I'm out the military now. I'm a soldier. I come home, I see everybody in camouflage back in them days, man. I was PTSD. I'm thinking we going to war, you know, you know,
Right. Right.
to later realize, like it wasn't that type of thing. So for me, it's always really been a musical movement, man. I vibe with the resignation of it. I've been writing since. It started with culture. And I try to keep it with culture. It's a lot of conversations and different elements. We're just telling you where I'm at, man. I'm long-winded, Lou. You gotta stop, bro. Like I said, where I've been with it's been a long time, bro. Still write. Like I said, man, I'm still privileged to write. My father passed with Alzheimer's, right? I take
Sorry to hear
write,
that.
I take
Yeah.
writing and scripturing, man, very, very powerfully grateful. You get what I'm saying? Unapologetic, like sonnets. We had business today, so if nothing else, I leave sonnets in the air. I leave my licensed material somewhere that hopefully it can benefit someone else, even if it don't benefit my time so much today. But I do it not everything isn't about the financial part. Um, I love the building. I recycle back to having knowledge of self early, Lou. I was brought up two things. Dan taught me in the studio when we finished. I said, Dan, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be successful. He said, Kamal, you already are. I said, what do you mean? He said, you just invested in yourself. That's what success is. He said, what you
Right.
define it as,
Exactly.
it's up to you. You ain't got to dress, look, or shine, or do nothing. As long as you plant a seed and invest in yourself, you will reach something, and that's success, bro, right? You know, um, and so in those benefits, I've never felt the need to chase things that I felt I already possessed. Um, and that positivity of it is just like lessons taught me I was a champion without an opponent, right? This is culture, right? So if, 15, 16, I'm building off this, hip hop became something where you had to be better than the next rapper. I love every artist. I love the artistry. I love
Right.
everybody's instrument, right? So it's like I don't want one guitar to be better than the other. I just want them to strum together. I want to have their purpose. So for me, it always was more or less than just being a rapper, but being a venue, being able to learn the system, help rappers, consult with rappers, put on parties to give them jobs, to put them on stages, right? To take them places. Um, we brought artists into Patterson, everybody from Wu when they first dropped, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yes.
talking, we threw one of the parties in Patterson at Skaters World back in the day that had the whole Wu-Tang clan. I'm talking everybody from Shaheem to Old Dirty, right? Um, mission was just to let the city vibe. From bringing YZ, shouting out YZ. This is the
YZ.
OG
Shout
in the
out
game.
YZ. Yes.
And it was like, man, God, bringing him back to Patterson, man, getting to the party and watching the line. It was a perfect venue day on a Valentine's Sunday. So it was no work Monday. So you had teenagers to adults who knew the God. You know, and so just in being able to bring these transportations, hoping that people inside the city meet somebody else, they get out, you know, becoming an extension, Lou. And so, like I said, yeah, we still
Let me ask
strumming.
you a question, man.
Talk to me,
How
please.
did you get started with that, with This Is That Ish LLC? How did that come about? And the name, how'd you come up with that name? Because the name is dope. You're very creative with your name, but how'd you get started with that, man?
Stubborn, stubborn, just being stubborn, right?
Right, right,
Because I guess I play with this, man. I hope not to offend, but you know, the thing of where we sometimes talk about being OCD, right? Having OCD, a person suffering, right? Whatever illness or whatever challenges, I always say whatever is in the way is the way, right?
right.
So you take an illness, a mental health illness like that, some people they get caught up, you know, it's confusing, so many moving things. So
Hmm.
again, I like to move things. I like the movement of things, right? I like to move them. So I realize this isn't a fault. It's really a superpower if I play it right, right?
Right.
So a lot of times people say you try to do too much. You can't do a lot of things at once. Say fuck them, right? So ish became an immense something with no limitation and no boundary, right?
Right.
It's an immense service for hire, which means, which just literally means that we are all extensions of each other, right? So
Hmm.
if I got a business and you sell tires up in New York, right? And I got a
Right.
business down here,
Right.
I could sell somebody a oil or I could present a lemonade to them. But we could talk and they could need tires. I can now be the author of selling tires, right? I'm
Right.
providing a service that they need to them, right?
Mm.
By connecting them with somebody else. So
Right.
if I'm a champion without being an opponent, my pride doesn't get in my way to pass stuff on. My brother's my ALA, right? So I want for
Right.
you what I want for myself. I want you to pass on. So I want to pass on. I don't deal with jealousy, envy, greed, and lust, right? So
Right.
so when you like get to be my age and you don't, like I said, you don't lived a few lives. You
Mm.
you you don't search those things, man. Like listen. I've been in this music so long, and sometimes I sit back and say what people may measure success as being, right? Then I
Hmm.
look at other stories. I watch grandkids grow up, man. I was able to homeschool my grandson during COVID, right? I worked 7 years at the hospital,
Right.
thought I was gonna work for 21, right? That was my goal. I'm going back into, I'm in the corporate world. I've been in the music so long, really one of my first times back. I cut my locks and everything to get up in this hospital, right?
Right. Right.
So um raised my daughter, did what I had to do, and then at a gifted moment, I was able to be pulled out. Right? Not that I changed my thought, not that my daughter didn't still get, but I was able to be pulled out. And at the same moment, my father gets sick. Right? I'm able to transition and care for him off whatever little that I know with this music.
Right.
Right? So when I look back, I wouldn't have been able to do that without, shit, if not for even my sanity. Right? The music dealing with 3.5 years with a father, I had to understand that nobody could tell me what I was gonna face caring for my father at that point. But so when I look back, it's music again, it's instrumental, brother. It's a frequency. Ish, to go back to your question, Ish became an immense service for hire. I mean, I had done so much, right? Goal is live life so the use of my life outlives my life, right? Like a root. So in this process with building it, decided to make it a square. How do you balance things out in this lifetime? Sometimes we do things and say it's about money. It's not supposed to be about money, but life makes things about money, right?
Right.
You got to
Right.
have it
Right.
for things to be, right? So we got to find a balance. Meaning, like if you need something from me, I want to be able to provide that for you, right? Um, where it's our credit when we become each other's credit. Meaning, like, you don't have to come with that. You got a show tonight, man. You need a show tape. You don't have to come with that money for me to charge you per hour to be in the studio. I'm
Right.
pushing you,
Right.
right? I'm giving you extra time because I want you to be right, right? It's like old school bands, man. That's why I said the funk, right? They had multiple energies that kept everybody locked in. We was each other's keeper, right? Not we, I'm old souling, but the process of why it was so important because those things the culture has got, well, you didn't ask me this, but because I saw the culture being faded to the back and more or less we see what it does but we don't see how it does it or why it does it, right? Or we
Right.
don't
Right.
we got to sometimes see how we can change it, right? Let's
Mhm.
say if if a person studied for X amount of years to create a certain theory, we have to be capable of studying for years to begin to plant a seed to something and not always think, I'd rather something happen, whether it happens after I'm gone, than for it just to have to happen while I'm here, right? My energy has to set forth more. The pendulum will always return the equal amount. So, with me again, music was an instrument. Music got me into counseling because with that same record, I'm performing in my city now. I'm grassrooted. My artistry is grassrooted. I guess at that point, I don't know where the culture of hip hop changed and people said you had to rap like this. We just was writing, right? Rhyming. I got a positive street song. Let's stand up. Let's brothers and sisters, let's become better teachers, hearers instead of just talk speakers, but around the city now I'm able to perform at the Professor Leonard Jeffries events, the Mamiya Africa, like when they had the grassrooted programs, I was innocent. I mean, I was able to come with artistry. So now I'm loving this movement. As time went on, like I said, this opened up a door for me I would eventually become a counselor, and I give credit to artistry, being able to be a spokesperson and build with a younger generation and kind of redirect them from paths that might have not been no directing for others to go. You know what I mean? So now again, I'm recircling. So when I looked at the whole square, I realized it needed education, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and empowerment. It
I
needed
was
all
going to
four.
ask you about that. Your motto. How did you
It
come up with that motto?
because the lessons taught me that the truth rests between the square.
Right.
So I began with the truth. And the truth of what it was is it had to be a reconstructing of a culture, right?
Mhm.
A ways and actions. It had to define something. Dan taught me you had to know where you want to be before you start going, right? You have to be able. One of the things I failed to learn, forgive me, is knowing how to specifically tell you what I tell you when I say live my life so the use of it outlives it. How to really know your goal in the least amount of words, right? So when you ask me, I do speak long because it's there. Like I said, it's a movement right now. You opened up a vein. Um, and so it became a flow. The four squares says, all right, if the truth is within and I want to build a culture, I wanted to deal with music. I wanted to deal with education. I wanted to deal with entertainment. I mean, like entrepreneurship and empowering. Now, the education might be counseling. The
Right.
entertainment might be recording, helping artists. You know what I'm saying? Again, counseling, right? The entrepreneurship is the teaching business model. Fuck it, nothing else. How to read, know what we want to start, build a business plan, go downtown, get a license, right? So at the same time, motivational saying, man, we sometimes get distraught by our struggles, man, and our struggles are the best place that sharpens our swords, right?
Exactly. You're
This
right.
is when
You're
our
right.
swords get sharp. We have to embrace this part of our life and take responsibility. I always say, like, let's say today's the 12th, right? Be
Mhm.
born to understand, right? So now we know that it's born to an understanding. We can build on an understanding and what seeing things clearly for what they really are, right? We can see that. But we already understand that. So the fact is the next day borns culture. So we don't have to wait and get stuck where it is, man. We already know where it's supposed to be, right? Like if me and my brother riding down the street, partner riding down the street today, he sees something. He sees a little girl on a bike crossing the highway. It's a fast lane. Cars are coming back and forth. She crossing this bike by herself, right? It catches him, right? We quickly like, look, wow, she was just thrown out there to the wolves on a bike. She what was crazy was so much traffic was going. The more I'm driving slow, but as I go, I'm looking, thinking, okay, she's gonna make it. Traffic's still coming. Now, man, we U-turning, we going back. Because if nothing else, I'm about to play street guard, right? Gonna cross her. But at this point, she had gotten across, right? But the fact is, man, we already know what we need to do. We just need to start doing it. I said you had me here. One of the things I wanted to ask you live on your podcast on this day that I'm here, I asked for the privilege for you to have me back here a year from now,
Okay.
right?
Solid. We could do
That's
that.
that's how we build, right?
Yeah.
Even if we can't
Let's do
talk every
that. Let's
seven
do that.
days, every whatever, let's for real, yo, put me back, man. Tell my good or my bad, right? But let's
Mhm.
at least know that we meet here, right? That we join, that we religion, we commune, right? To build, we would have done something twice then. And like I said, as we build, man, this is where the consistency, man. I've learned again the traveler with music, man. Like music is taking me from Patterson, New Jersey to something.
You lost your volume. Your volume. Your volume. You froze. You. You. You must have had a phone call. Yeah, that's probably what it is. We're gonna wait a few seconds, America, and see how this play out. You know what I mean? We're gonna wait a few minutes, see how this play out. We're gonna wait a few minutes. Usually when that happens, someone has a phone call. You must have had a phone call.
Yeah, and I didn't connect it from the door, but I guess it was still in the queue in the background shadows still ringing.
It's all good. I kind of figured that's why I stayed on. But since I got you here, today's social climate, man,
Talk to
tell
me.
me, how do you feel about today's social climate? What's going on in the world today, man?
Oh, that's a deep question, Lou. Like,
Yeah, we gotta be deep. I'm a deep dude like you, man.
well, as I was saying, man, right now, the box, take the box, right?
Right,
Um, or even take the example of a barbed wire fence.
right,
Sometimes you can put a barbed wire fence up, or you keeping something out. See, in order to keep something out, you also lock something in, right? So we got to
right,
sometimes be careful. It's like me going through an experience in my life and meeting you, and you say something, and I think I got to have that same experience because you said something that I went through before. I got I got us in a
right,
box, right? It
right.
don't even have to be that party, right? It could be something totally different. So in today's social climate, I mean, are we talking about like exactly what part of it, Lou? I know these questions I hear, I see, but it's really deeper. It's deeper than is there something wrong? Is something going on that hasn't always gone on in life? Right? It's something we want different. If we want something different, then what are we doing to make it different? I don't even have the right to talk about something going on that I don't disagree with or whatever, unless I'm a part of something that's changing it. So you would
Right.
have to know, everybody would have to know me different. Like I know in the background, again, we got the Forte program we working on, right? That's been a thing for a while, right? Take you back to Ish, right? So the process of the Forte is really just trying to bring back old school process of a label, man. Trying to teach young C's how to create a business, right? I
Right.
know a lot of them go out for basketball, but truthfully, they ain't all gonna make it, right? I feel like young C's need to have different skill sets. Now, again, this has been a secret for a while because I know sometimes the king can't always move too quick. He can't jump out the box, right? You gotta let some pawns get hit, or you gotta have some pawns that want to play their part, right, and know what they doing, right? You don't just want to put sacrificial lambs out there. It's got to be for real, but the process was thinking I was trying to put also a lot of queens, around this movement because I wanted the understanding of them born in with other mothers pretty much, that they supported what myself and the brothers were trying to do. Right? I didn't want to go out here chasing people, kids who they didn't want to get something we was trying to give them. Right?
Right,
But
right.
this will also be again, we could be our own problem. Right? The social media aspect of it informs people sometimes on things that they don't need to know yet, right?
Mm.
So the social
Facts,
climate,
facts.
the social like analog. I heard Cam say one time, and I hope, like I said, I'm trying not to quote, but he was talking about some of his peoples when they visited down in Philly, let's say back in the day, and they saw the
Mhm.
cats there with white t-shirts on. And they was like, look, they dressing like us. And he had to let them know, man, cats, like the world ain't just one place.
Right.
Right? So, in having that part of that ability to realize that from New Jersey, from the 973 to the 803, I met
Mhm.
two cats, right? I had a brother who was real good at art up in Jersey. You know, I met a brother who real good at art in South Carolina, right?
Right.
Um, I met a brother who was real good at lyricism. I thought different, whatever, but I met that same person in New York, or I met him in Charlotte. So how can I not be aware that it's not just a box situation, right? So without the internet, the familiarity or the fame wouldn't be the same for everybody, right? It made you be whatever. So sometimes too much information is like too much food, is gluttony, right? And it could cause
Right.
the mind.
Right.
My daughter told me, the mind isn't always mature enough for it. So this is why I embrace and say the younger generation need to go to elders, right, and kind of ask, like, yo, I don't know if you're gonna like this or whatever, but this is what I'm thinking of doing. How would you do this if you do it? Like, allow. Why not get that? Right?
Right.
Why not get that if you can get that? Like, um, fatherhood. Father is one who possesses the qualification to further another's education. We talk a lot of times about it, a lot of young men who haven't had fathers, but there are fathers out here, right? So we
Right.
can talk about what they haven't had, and that could be the reason why whatever their life starts one way, right? Or they can understand that the power, whoever the man was who possessed their seed, bear witness that they was meant to live this life, right?
Mhm.
And they
Right.
they
Right.
don't have to struggle with the missing body as much as they can get what the body represents, right? So when we flip this course of this of what we're getting and we begin to create it again, sometimes this could be before time. Here's one for you. I was gifted one time, man. We put a project in a time capsule supposed to be opened up in 50 years. This was done like maybe 12 years ago. Now, I know I don't be alive to see this, but you understand what I see life as being. You know what I mean? Let's leave something. It won't always be the glitter and the fame. It won't always be,
Exactly.
it's so like, I know you, Lou, right? Fuck, so I feel rich. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like these are
Hmm.
jewels, your personality, me and your energy, the whole nine. This is not a monetary type. This is not a number we can put on it, right? Regardless to what. It's humble, it's legit. And so sometimes, can I say that a person can get that at 15 or 14 or 20 or 25? But I can say that it's there to be gotten, right? It's there to see the it's there to see the greatness or the uniqueness in things, like as we start building and refining a culture, right? Hip hop was a culture, man. It's a culture, ways and actions. Now you hear it on social media where it defines the culture, right? Like more or less the culture bringing. But let me correct this where I'm saying it's like somebody could say you deleted from the culture. It delete you from your ways and actions. You get what I'm saying? Right? They might not let you come to this party, or they might not shine you like this and that. You might only be 5% of the party. The other 85 or 95 may not look. But this is
Exactly. Exactly.
what that means, man, right? I said I used to sell things to 1,000 people. I used to be on shows and do shows with 1,000 people. Today I realize all I need is 100 people to sell 10 things to. I don't have to have
Right.
huh?
Explain your new music that you just dropped in December. Explain that.
What part of it? What you get from it?
Huh?
What you get from it? What you hear in it?
What I get from it, I got creative thinking. I got a creative process. I got somebody that's transitioning. It's like a transitioning of creative process. That's what I got from it. Because remember, I knew how you sound back in the day compared to how you sound now. And it's like a transition. And it's like there's more creativity to this project. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to get something across. So I'm trying to figure out, because you have a creative process and the way that you think is very creative. So I want to know what made you decide to come with a project like this at this time.
To answer that question, you kind of was tossing it. The thing, Lou, is back here a few years ago, I went and I had some surgeries done, right? Had a surgery done. So in the surgery, you figure eye, ear, nose, throat, right?
Mhm.
Along those vessels. They run, same channels. So that therefore it changed my voice. It took my voice away. I would learn. Today I find my voice. Again, I'm an instrument in some form.
Right,
Plus, I'm old school, right? Stubborn. Back to the stubborn answer. I refuse to not participate or contribute to something because
right,
of a handicap, right? So my vision got changed, right? My voice got changed. But I still write because I still write. So
right.
in the writing part of it, I sometimes like to instrumental my own beats when I'm making beats. Because again, I was learning all of this for a while. So what's the melody I hear? What would I do? And so as I'm freestyling, I'm crooning. I'm from the old school. We used to harmonize. Stop playing.
Mhm. That's right.
Right.
Harmonize a lot. Yes.
So I'm crooning because I know I'm kind of just trying to harmonize melodies. So that has allowed me to write far more than just rap, hip hop, right? Songs. I think I got some We Are the World projects in my library, right? Just waiting for the right time or the right group of instruments to put it together. Um, so just refusing to let an injury or something take me out. So the voice thing, when you hear the sound different, it's the sound new. Like that's the one thing, brother formerly known as Kamal, right? How I get there, right? Almost like a Prince analogy, right? At this point, I sat and I realized for years I had taken on Kamal. Kamal means perfection, right? I know that nothing is perfect, so I would always manifest it as one who strives. I sat down one day in a mindset in my outer body experience, it going from more worldly to more spiritual, like elevating, right? Because we grow, right? So what it led me to understand is that maybe I had tagged myself, Lou. I was never gonna find a home because I was always gonna try to do something more,
Right.
right? So
Mhm.
because Kamal is always trying to be better, right? So I'm always trying to
Okay.
add on. Um, I'm an algorithmist. So I look outside the box. I look at the equations in a sense. And so in that process, it just it just brought me to a place, Lou, where the style just was gonna be verbalistic. I was gonna write, I was gonna mumble in my mic, I was in the studio, I was just gonna write and create. I'm very proud of things I created, right? And so it came to a point to where who hears it? If I've been in my own box for let's say the past 12 years now, right? 15. Well, raising my daughter from 5 when my mother got sick and I would have to uproot everything. See, many don't even know why, like how I transitioned from Patterson.
Right.
My
Right.
mom gets sick and I'm coming to see. I didn't know she was that sick. She was in the bed, hospice. So I returned. I mean, in my way to go home and pack up, she would pass away 2 days later. But when I come for the funeral,
Right.
I just never go back. I got a young daughter just being born. I've been a counselor now for 15 years, helping to raise other people's kids. I've had my own children whose lives I've missed. Now I got to do different. This young girl, I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a single dad. You get what I mean? I asked the mother for custody. I took her
Right.
with me. We left Patterson and I would raise her down here, 2 years in South Carolina, went to Charlotte. And that's where, we remained as I grew up. So in that process of it, man, it brings you to a place that again refusing to stop, Lou, being stubborn. The new style became a lot of music. Like what you heard is just the first thing because it was somebody else's beats. Right, some brothers sent me some beats, and I like to write them. I want to show you respect if you send me a beat. Sometimes a producer might feel it, sometimes they won't. But I know I ain't killing nobody enough. I know there's a lot more to be said, right? There's a lot more stories to be told. So you hearing it will make you a part of my label, really, more or less, my company, right? Because the 2,000 people or whatever that I have as friends, the world is so much bigger, right? So I don't see the people who hear my music so much as hearing the finished product. I see you being a contributor to helping me understand or just to fill in the box. If nothing else, man, I will do this, right? I'm not going to tell you. I tell you I want to. I tell you I will. I'm going to try to contribute. If I can sit down and help you tap out something. If I can write. People talk about ghostwriters. The OGs back in the days will help each other write,
Right.
right? We contribute.
But right.
Now we so busy talking about like what if I say a word and it's a better word, right? So now here's the thing, if we all got our business right, I got my PMI, you got yours, you got our man, all we got to do is again say what we contributed and hope that we get paid, right? We ain't got to go through all of that other struggle. So I'm still about selling, slinging stuff out the trunk of the car right now, bro. You get what I mean? Um, like just because it's a natural organic that you're gonna hear the music, but you're gonna see more of what the music is about. It's really me saying the program we're building with youth is to teach kids who don't know each other how to come together and create something. So I want to show them how simple this is. So I had the one in my tank back up, right? It was time to get stuff out the system. Trust me, I got another one coming. I got a bunch of 7-song projects throughout the whole system. I've been writing, just nobody to really hear it, right? Nothing I ever thought was finished because I'm my own ear. Nobody's mic checking me, so I'm in the mic trying to record. And it's just fun. So it's never been stressed. And now it's time to really just put some stuff out. So we tweak it, playing with stuff. Still saying if you hear something out of that 7 that makes a difference, I may want to go. I might take all 7 of them and make one song, right? Right now I'm building, man. Got a lot of stuff in my chamber. And again, we own our master, right? So all of this is about being able to say, I'm not looking for, we don't search for nothing we haven't earned. And we just really trying to put the business together to say it. Um, That's a lot of OGs out there, yourself alone, man, still with lyrics and bars. And we'll go down because there wasn't the internet and it wasn't no digital. So we didn't get a fair chance to just leave something for history, man. You know what I mean? Just something digitalized. And so asking a lot of brothers from my hometown, like how we can at least let the young cats know we existed. Like I said, Trey Force did numbers, Mixmaster Mike did numbers, we rock through, right? Um, Kamal Newborn did numbers. Peaceland Family. I mean, we were on stages with people again. We brought people in and we went out. I remember doing some Def Jam concert in North. We the only artists on the stage that wasn't down with Def Jam. This is your Wu Tang, Redman. I mean, with Method Man, Redman, Eric Sherman, the Onyx is here, right? But we the only ones there performing that ain't on Def Jam again because of Peter Pan. Saying so. I mean, just the time life is taking, man, is taking me places. May not have been on tour, but it took me how to train as a courier, right, and drive. And so when I got paid on the road, I would burn my own music and just be able to leave my music anywhere from Charlotte to Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. So I paid myself to just say, right, the money won't always have to come for the music. It comes from the love. And so it circles back. And then you find out that we're more valuable sometimes than just what we can afford to present. And if we all judging, that's why I said I write, man. And I want to always leave a venue open. I want to teach young kids. I want to put that rhyme dictionary in front of them and let them know, like, there's another word that rhymes with that little, right? You could think different, right? Let me give you this instrument, man. Let me give you this. Let me surround you with this. Let me not say give it. I might be, sued later because I promised something. But let us surround you with these instruments, right? Let me call a brother like Lou. Let me call another producer I know or a writer. Let me call. Let me bring people in every week so we can help teach them how to go from being the art. Like if you take 15 kids, who gonna be the artist? Who gonna be the photographer? Who gonna be the videographer? Who gonna be the president? Who gonna decide the marketing, right? If we give them all of these tools, the screen prints to do their t-shirts and promote, the computers to market, the sound system to record, I don't think we have to have a conversation about the social craze because at that point we participating in creating something. And if we arrive back here a year from now, guess what? It'll be what we want it to be, what we took control of making. We won't have to be saying nobody else owe nothing. We'll just be doing it. And so me putting out the project is me just saying, the fuck, I could do it. I could do it. I could write. I could put one out every day. Um, the content is what it's become about. But for me, it's just about me already having the content. Like I don't have to start this today. I've been writing. But one day I'll let you hear, man. My brother passing, I found in it as I'm a part of his probate cleaning up. I will find out that my big brother had probably my first record, first cassettes, first CDs from back in 2005. You get what I'm saying?
Listen, man, my
No,
time is running short
95.
here,
Say
and
what?
I want to thank you for being on this show,
Yo,
my
yo, I
brother.
appreciate it, man.
No doubt, man. You gave me knowledge. You gave everybody knowledge, food for thought, like you always do, my boy. I love you, man.
Man, I
Keep doing what
appreciate
you're doing. And like you said, you got that, the candy man is back, like you was telling me before, up there. You know what I mean? Yo,
we
man,
just
keep doing
provide
what you're doing.
services. You see it.
You know what I mean? For
See it.
real. And we definitely gonna be back on this show next year. Like you said, let's make that a 1 year thing, brother.
No doubt. And again, appreciate you for having me, man, and allowing me to jibber jabber. That's what happened when you lock an old man up in the studio for like a few years. He be waiting to talk. But yeah, man,
No
hopefully all
doubt,
works
man.
out,
For
man.
real. So, like I said, another episode of Connected Dots. I'm your host, Lou Icewater, aka Duquan, and my guest is brother known formerly as Kamal Rogers. My man.
Peace, y'all.
Nice to see you. Nice to have you, man. Be strong, be safe out there in them streets, my boy.
No doubt.
All right,
Peace,
no
Lord.
doubt. Peace.